Hey everyone, welcome to the Introspective Detective channel. My name is Alan Ray, and on this channel we explore life and the human experience through the lens of spirituality. In this video, we're going to examine the question, why do I think so much? As I begin to consider what it was I wanted to share on this topic, I couldn't help but laugh at the irony of the question that we're posing here for perusal. Essentially, we're thinking about why it is we think so much, but we've got to be able to laugh at ourselves, right? So constantly thinking is something that I personally struggled with for a very long time. I used to be a corporate guy, and I was relatively high up on that food chain. And at that point in my life, I was constantly on the go, constantly on my phone, constantly accessible. I really never turned off. The only exception would be to sleep, of course, but I could barely even do that because whenever I would lay down to rest, my mind would just begin racing. I'd lie in bed thinking about all the things I needed to do the next day, worrying about things that I might have missed that needed to be done, worrying about a random exchange that I had with a coworker. Did I say the right thing? Did I say the wrong thing? How might that person interpret it? And just on and on. I lived in that manner for so many years that ultimately I nearly lost myself in that world, or to that world, I should probably say. So the reason that so many of us struggle with perpetual thinking is really quite simple, and that reason becomes apparent to us by virtue of self-observation. Our minds are overstimulated. In today's modern technological world of likes and views, where life is no longer a private pursuit, but one that's now publicized for all to view and comment upon, which we could also say judge, we spend the majority of our existence thinking. We're always feeding the mind, and in particular the ego. As an experiment, look around next time you're in public, present pandemics notwithstanding. Turn off your phone and just observe what you see around you. People used to talk while they were walking around, or while enjoying a meal together, and just enjoy each other's company. And now, for the most part, our faces are looking downward, and we're just totally absorbed by screens. So, feeding that mind with data, just more and more data constantly. By doing that, we don't allow the part of us, the aspect of ourselves that wants to relax, to hang out, to just be, to breathe. Consider what an average day looks like for most of us. During an average 24-hour period, how much of that time is spent feeding the mind? Meaning activities like watching TV, surfing the internet, playing video games, the list goes on. Now, with that number in mind, how much time we allocate towards those types of things. Conversely, how much of our time is spent in relaxation, in leisure, meditation, reflection. Any? So if we spend an excessive amount of time in our minds, we run the risk of identifying with the mind and becoming completely absorbed by thought. Over time, many of us forget all about our true authentic self and identify with the mind altogether. For some, this process occurs subconsciously when we don the title of adulthood. So there's why we think so much, Now let's unpack what we can do about it. So just as the reason behind overthinking is quite simple, so too is the solution. Feed the mind less and watch the mind more. By stimulating our minds less often, the mind begins to calm down and fire less on autopilot. Not only does self-observation reveal this to be true, but science concurs as well. In some of my other videos, I talk about something called neuroplasticity. In simple terms, what this means is that the more often we repeat a certain type of mental behavior, the more likely that same behavior pattern is to play out in the future. So constantly overstimulating our minds can cause them to expect such, and as a result, they'll constantly fire, whether we want them to or not. So feed the mind less and watch the mind more.
Jim, don't take this the wrong way. Are you going to take this the wrong way?
It's hard to tell so far.
You use your brain too much.
I'm sorry, are you advocating that I use it less?
That's right, Jim. Meditation is the single most powerful tool that we have in our toolbox to quiet the mind. A minimal time commitment of maybe 15 to 20 minutes a day can make an absolute world of difference. And I used to be one of those people that, just would adamantly say, oh, I could never do that. I can't meditate. I can't sit still. And I laugh now in retrospect because exactly, was I even listening to my own words? I couldn't sit still. I was so far gone, so overstimulated that I didn't know how to just be. And so, like with anything else, like with learning any other new skill or undertaking any other new activity, I had to start at the beginning. So my first day meditating was difficult, and my second day was a little bit less difficult, and my third day was slightly easier still, and so on. And by the end of my first 30 days, I was, for all intents and purposes, I was basically a pro. So by meditating each day, the pacing of the mind slows down greatly. What we gain from this is we feel much more calm, much more at ease, more self-assured, confident, just more in control, rather than that other way of being where we're constantly pulled at and tugged at by thought. So if you want to think less, stop spending so much time in your mind. This may sound obvious, but yet that is the only step that needs to be taken. Learn to relax. Learn this skill. Spend time cultivating this skill. Try something different that's more low-key or low energy. Go old school, like playing board games. Sing. Play a musical instrument. Sit in the park. Stare up at the sky. And on this same note, let go of worry, because many of the thoughts that tend to overtake us are a result of fear and worry. So let go of worry as a mental process. It doesn't serve you. Whatever the thing is that we're worrying about, if action needs to be taken, by all means, take the action, but then let go of the emotional turmoil and self-punishment. So to bring things to a conclusion, what has your experience been in this area? Do you struggle with your mind constantly racing? Do you have any tips or tricks that might be of assistance to others? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you found the information in this video to be of value, please click the like button and be sure to subscribe to receive future content such as this. With regard to today, decide that you're going to be happy. Let go of any thoughts or feelings of worry, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video.